Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Cincinnati Preschool Promise Preschool Chat. We are here and we have our esteemed guest, Chef Monica Watson, with us this evening. And she's going to give us some healthy holiday snacks for our children and a couple of other little tidbits. Without any further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Chef Watson so she can tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi everyone. Please call me Monica. I get called Miss and Chef and all that stuff all day long, and I'm just Monica today. Thank you. I appreciate. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you concerning our youth. They are my passion. I started in this business about 10 years ago. I'll be 61 next month, and got kind of a late career start, but started out in the nursing home industry and wasn't really excited about it when I started this in 2016 after I graduated. But now my passion is the children because I feel like at older ages we are more, our palates are already ruined, what we like, what we don't like. So with our youth, we can kind of introduce things to us that maybe we weren't introduced to, or and then, give them more variety of food without necessarily spending a lot of money. Like I said, I got a late career start, and I worked in corporate America for over 30 years, and lost my job. Woke up the next morning, and as I signed up for unemployment, I was upset, but I wasn't stupid. And I saw that Cincinnati State was just kind of floating down in the background, and I decided to go to culinary school, not just out of the clear blue because I couldn't cook. I had family and relatives that did that, but just to watching, believe it or not, Food Network when it was in its prime, and I just wanted to do something different, so I decided to go to culinary school. Started there in 15, worked there, graduated twice. I'm sorry, I started there in 13, and I graduated twice, once from the culinary program, and then I got my dietary degree. Spent 6 months working in Disney, and now I'm the food service director at St. Joseph Orphanage. Can you believe I said that after all of that complaining I did about us changing our name, and now we're New Path? So
it's okay. It happens to all of us.
Thank you, Kenitra. But I have a daughter who's 40, and she would kill me if I told you. 20-year-old granddaughter who is at HBCU, and a grandson who's a star football player, and a granddog. Again, the food service director for New Path. I have 2 campuses, one with live-in kids who we can house up to 32. And then we also service our day treatment, which are our high school kids. And at my campus by LaSalle High School, we have our elementary school kids. They are there from school time, and then my residential kids are there all the time, obviously. We used to be an orphanage, but there's no more orphanages, but we still have kids that live actually on the campus.
Well, I know I did some looking into your time and tenure, and I saw one point that I thought was kind of awesome. Said as the food service director, you and your team had the privilege of serving over 100,000 meals. So what does that look like on a daily basis? How do you make sure all of the youth in your program are served?
So you're saying a year, correct? Because
yes, a year.
Very obvious. Yeah.
In a year.
What it is, I have a team of 2 on each campus. I kick in where I can, but my cooks are amazing. And we have breakfast and lunch. So on 3 days a week, we have hot breakfast for our guests. I call them guests because they are there, we don't want them to live there. It's just a passing through thing. Just a little bit again behind the program. We're a behavioral agency. So the residents, the guests that are there, and our day treatment kids it's kind of a stop through for them. So we have our behavioral students who are in a public school or a public school setting, but may have behavioral, IEP, some sort of medical issues that are behavioral. So they come to our school, hopefully for a short period of time. So we make sure they could be coming from a group home. They could be coming from a setting where their parents are separated, incarcerated, living with a relative, and things like that. So they're with us. But to answer your question, we have as much as I can. I like my staff to cook from scratch. I have my own catering business, so I'm kind of like, I like to get food from the earth. I have a garden, so I want to get as much fresh food as I possibly can because I want the kids, they get enough McDonald's and Burger King and stuff like that. And a lot of the foods that we get in, unfortunately, from our vendors is processed food. So if as much as possible, I like to get my staff involved in kind of doctoring up the food a little bit as much as they can. So we are serving 1 to 4 lunches a day between 11 and 12:30 at both my campuses. And I'm lying, at one campus, my other campus, I serve 8 lunches a day. So we have breakfast and lunch, and then our dinner is at 5 o'clock for the kids that live there. So my campus with my elementary kids, we have about between 60 and 90 meals a day, and staff is included if they would like to eat. We make meals for them, and also staff as far as our faculty, but in addition to our agency staff, if they'd like a meal, we offer them meal services also. My campus on the east side by Coney Island, my high school campus, the same thing. We probably feed about 60 to 80 between the residential staff and my guest staff, and then my residential kids and my kids that come in from the day program, and then the staff that eats, we're probably feeding over 100 people. And this is Monday through Friday for my both campuses for my high school kids, and then weekends also for the kids that live there. We do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have, I'm going to start, my staff doesn't know this yet, so if anybody knows my staff, they don't know it, but I'm going to start a brunch program on the weekends, so my residential kids are able to come down to the cafeteria and have brunch. So, we'll do, they love breakfast for lunch, so I'm just going to kind of incorporate that into my program. But my staff doesn't know that yet.
That sounds exciting. I just want to take a moment and say hello and welcome to all of our providers that have been able to join us this evening. Thank you for tuning in to Preschool Chat with the Cincinnati Preschool Promise team. Today, our topic is talking about healthy snacks as we are transitioning into the holiday season. And we are here today with Chef Monica to give us some ideas and more perspective on what we can do to serve healthy snacks to our preschoolers. And Miss Sydney, I will turn it back to you for our next question.
So, Ms. Monica, I heard you talk about high school students as well as the younger ones. Is there any one food or group of foods that resonate better with the children?
Of course. any kind of potato, any kind of way we serve it, they love it. I mean, I've switched to baking our French fries, our potato pancakes, our potato wedges, our curly fries, and they didn't even notice because they like potatoes so much. They're doing vegetables a little better. They were gearing more towards the pizzas and the chicken, but as I introduced more as I introduced different kind of, like I do all beef burgers, all beef hot dogs, things like that, they're starting to like theirs, but it's the potatoes all day long. It's always the potato.
Well, you hit on one key thing by saying, as you introduced, that was one of the questions that I had written down was how do we expose our preschoolers to new food choices so that we're looking for just traditional food choices as we're moving into the holidays, but also how do we help identify for our parents and our providers healthy snacks for our preschoolers for those who may be picky eaters?
We have to introduce, there's a rule that once you try something, 5 times, and I might be lying, but I think it's 5 to 7 times when you try something, we have to introduce small portions instead of here's a plate of peas, eat them. Just start with a small amount, because especially with our preschoolers, they're going to inhale as much as they like and then not have room for something else. So if we give them a little bit and encourage them to try that, and then they can go back to, I'm going to keep saying potatoes, and they can go back to the potatoes. Then it's like, okay, try a few more peas. Oh, okay, here's some more potatoes. Instead of giving them the same amount of the introduction, just start with a smaller amount. And don't ever tell them it's good for them, because they won't care about that. I also like the food introduced in its as close to its natural form as possible. So if we can do fresh broccoli, fresh cauliflower, fresh carrots, things like that. And then because I noticed that we do cook our food a lot, and have a tendency to overcook it, which cooks out the nutrients and vitamins. So if we can introduce the things to them fresher, as opposed to baked, boiled, or steamed or fried or whatever.
Okay, another key thing that you said is just in smaller doses, which triggered my next question. Is there a limit to how many new foods you should introduce a child to at once? Or is there such thing as overexposure?
Not at all. Not at all. I believe that the more we introduce them to, and I started out before, the reason why I like working with our youth as opposed to our and when I say older, I don't mean my age. I mean even my high school kids. I have more problems with them, with introducing new foods to them. Example for me, I had never had mandarin orange. I've had halos, I've had clementines, I've had all of that, but I was never introduced to a mandarin orange as a child, except in this god awful salad that my stepmother used to make. And as you're given multiple things, then you do have choices. If you're given the same thing over and over and over again that you don't like, then you're never gonna expand your palate.
That is cool. As I was preparing for this evening, one of the things that I read is that a cool way to help your children get exposure to healthy food and make them excited to try it is to allow them to take part in the preparation.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I was going to talk about that. Yes.
I was going to say, could you give us some ideas on how our parents and providers can help or have the children take place or help prepare meals or snacks or fun ways to bring that into the play?
Instead of like I've got a wrap that I like to do, not like wrap, but a wrap that I like as far as a food wrap is concerned, and you can do it with tortillas, and people that are not, maybe gluten friendly or whatever, they don't want to use the tortillas or can't or unable to. You can also do it with the meat, and just take maybe a piece of turkey and wrap it around a piece of broccoli or a carrot or something and eat it that way, and have the kids help prepare that meal. It's something really simple. If they like bologna, they can do bologna. If they just, want to use a wrap, spread a little, whatever your choice of condiment would be, whether it be peanut butter and jelly or whatever, but have things at their level that they're able to work at a level that they can work at, so they don't have to step on stools. If need be, they can, but I'm all about safety. But just give them things like with bread. If they want bread to make just say, okay, get the peanut butter, get the jelly, get the mustard, get the mayo. And it doesn't hurt to even have like a small squeeze jar, or something like that they can handle, instead of a big jar of something. But as much as hands-on as they can be, they're also in their creation. So they're like, oh, I made that. Oh, okay, try it, instead of here's some food, eat it. And it could be the exact same thing that they made, but with them fixing it, they're able to eat their creation. It's kind of like art, and they can look at it and say, okay, I did this and I ate it too.
That's a cool way to look at it. It's like art. I did it, and now I can enjoy it. I'm a foodie at heart, so that kind of resonates.
Like it.
If it looks good and if it's appealing to the eye, then you probably are going to be more.
Absolutely. Especially if you made it. Yeah.
So as we approach the holiday season, can you give us some ideas that may be not just preschooler friendly, but kids are going to be home, going on breaks and things of that
Mhm.
sort. So things that are going to be healthy options for the children, but might be time friendly, so that the family can still spend that time together, but then budget friendly. I don't know if people watch the news, but they were just saying like prices are soaring on a lot of items, but the
Gosh.
items that kind of remained the same were sweet potatoes and cranberries because there was an influx of cranberries on farms this year.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure how many preschoolers are eating cranberries and sweet potatoes, but if you have any healthy snacks ideas that you could tell us that can be prepared that are time friendly, preschooler
Mhm.
friendly, and budget friendly.
Sweet potatoes are a good go-to. Again, I was talking to Sydney about the potato. Baked with sweet potato is amazing, and we have a tendency to sweeten up the sweet potato with like making candy yams. I mean, not candy, sweet potatoes. With the butter and the brown sugar and this and that. We can just put sour cream, chives, cheese, and bacon in it, and call it a day. The extra sugars aren't added, none of that. So you can run with that sweet potato just as well as you can run with the regular potato. I also looked at fresh potato chips. You can just cut potatoes kind of thin and uh, rinse them really good, pat them dry, oil them up really good, throw them in the oven for a few minutes, and you got a quick potato chip instead of going to the store. Frittatas are good. Eggs are ridiculous right now, but a cupcake pan and just make an egg mixture and throw in whatever ingredients that you want and put them in individual cups. Sydney, you can have bell peppers in yours, and Kanitra, you can have onions and chives in yours. And everybody can just kind of make their own. Fruit kebabs. Just it doesn't even necessarily have to be on a sharp stick. You can put it on a popsicle stick. I mentioned the wraps before. Smoothies are always a hit. You can throw anything you want in a smoothie. And little mini bagel bites, little small bagels. Even if you don't use the small bagel, take a big bagel and cut it in half, and then fold it in half, and you've got the mini bagel. And you can go to town with stuff like that. Um, there's a really, really fun dip that I like. It's called a peanut butter and honey dip. And for those with allergies, you can use almond butter. You can use uh, nut butter. And it's not really nut, so I don't know why they call it that. And then honey, and then a little apple juice, and stir it up and dip any kind of fruit that you want in it and eat it forever. Um, I could go on forever. So I told Sydney initially that I've got recipes and I can send those to you guys. Another big hit that I like is just a taco cup, and you can just take a quick tortilla and dump any kind of ground beef in it and taco fixings that you want. Put it in a little cupcake pan, throw them in the oven, and keep it moving. Again, these are just things that the kids are able to create themselves. Not just the kids, but the parents, the high school kids, the middle school kids or whatever, and the older kids can help the younger kids. In my situation with my youth at my agency, some of these are latchkey kids, and they're going home, and their parents are at work and stuff like that, and that would be something they could put in the toaster oven. I went really old school there. The air fryer, and not have to worry about turning on the big oven and stuff like that. I'm not a big microwave fan, but even in the microwave to melt the cheese a little bit or something like that.
All right. Well, I'll toss it back to Sydney. I know I just asked a couple of rapid fire questions, but I think we all can get excited when we start talking about the different ways to make potatoes. So, uh,
It's universal. So, Miss Monica,
Mhm.
I know that I have a daughter who absolutely loves broccoli, who
Mhm.
drowns the taste of her broccoli with ranch.
Mhm.
How do you feel about salad dressings and children? I know that there's some obesity out there and cholesterol and the sugars and everything. Tell me
Mhm.
about salad dressings, or should they go to the light or fat free or something like that?
My belief, my My nutritional belief, let me get off my soapbox. My nutritional belief and teachings are dieting and is a lifestyle change. So my kids are eating salads at school now more because I'm offering the kind of dressing that they like. They range on everything. And instead of giving them, like you said, putting the ranch, one of my girls likes ranch on her potato chips, her potatoes, and she won't eat potatoes without the ranch. Well, she does now because I've introduced different dressings. And instead of just giving them ranch, give them a light Italian, give them a honey mustard, something like that. And still have the ranch on hand, but just let them taste it. And that goes back to my saying, let them taste just a small portion and see if they like it, because they're automatically going to say they don't like it because they've not had it. My personal opinion, if she's eating broccoli and you get it in her, let her eat it with ranch. I don't believe, and I don't like, as far as nutrition and dietary is concerned, light, no sugar, unless you've got medical conditions, of course. But light, no sugar, sugar-free, fat-free, stuff like that. Everything is all about portions. So if you want a cookie, eat a cookie, because if not, you're going to eat a whole row of cookies. A sugar-free cookie versus 5 sugar-free cookies versus 1 cookie, go ahead and eat your 1 cookie. We are so hung up on labeling, and the ingredients to me are more important than the fat, the caloric, the sugar content and stuff like that. Again, medically, of course, if you can't have sugar, if you can't have a lot of carbs, if you can't have things like that, then of course don't. But as far as if your daughter's eating a plate of broccoli and taking a cup of ranch and putting it on there, no. But if she's just dipping it, let her go for it. Yeah. I would, if you'd like, if that's the only vegetable she eats, yeah, we got an issue. But no, but I would rather them eat the vegetable with ranch than not eat it at all. Yeah. I get tired of fighting. Yeah.
So with that being said, I know you said you had a few recipes for some things for the children. Do you have recipes for dips that they can make? And just, I know one of the things that the kids used to like was, what did they call it? It's peanut butter on celery with raisins.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and ants on a log or something like
Yes.
that. Do you have any of those fun type of recipes?
Yes, I do. Now the peanut butter and honey dip, that can be spread on the celery, and drop some raisins on there. I've also got some recipes for it's kind of a I call it a loose cheese ball dip. I didn't pull that, but I'll write it down so I remember. But it's a cheesy kind of ranchy dip, and it's pretty good. I like it. But I make my dips from scratch because that's what I do for a living. But dips from scratch and dressings from scratch are a lot healthier, of course, because you know what ingredients you're putting in, and you know exactly the amount. I just said what ingredients you're putting in. So I always suggest homemade. They don't last as long, of course, because of the preservatives and things like that. But I've got dip recipes. There's some where you can actually make your own have nachos and then make your own dip to dip your nachos in, your cheese dip and things like that. Cheese, like I said, a ranch dip, celery, not a celery dip, you said the celery. Hummus is really good. A lot of people don't do hummus because of texture, but hummus is my go-to besides, ranch. And, I'm not that big of a ranch fan, but hummus is good. Any kind of vinaigrette, anything with oil and vinegar, any kind of herb, dried herb, any kind of vinaigrette, any kind of balsamic, those are really good. So yeah, I'll write that down.
I know I looked up a few as we talked about it. One was called
Hmm.
turkey brownies. And then I also looked up one that was called turkey in the straw.
Hmm.
And these were just fun shaped ones. And so it led me to the question of, do you have recommendations on fun, like cookie cutter shapes or things that parents can buy in preparation for the holidays to make the food more enticing for the children, that can aid in learning, but also in themes for the holidays?
My favorite go-to, going back to the wraps. Here I am, old school. I told y'all I was 60. I'll be 61. Okay, but the turkey hands. If they take their hand and they trace around it and use trace around a piece of meat or a piece of bread, and then they can maybe roll their sandwich into that and make a little hand sandwich, or just make a sandwich with their hand, and it'll be like a hand sandwich. I think that's cool because it looks like the turkey. Don't act like you guys don't know, but the turkey. But yeah, something like that. You also mentioned the turkey and the straw. They are variables with which is always a favorite with kids, with deviled eggs. You can put olives on them and make eyes. You can put chives on them and make like a cat. So you can have two little olives and then chives on them to make a little cat face. And then at the top, maybe two pimentos from like the middle of the olives to make like a cat. I'm not going to draw, but hopefully everybody's getting my visual. Just different things like that. Sydney mentioned the ants on the log. Of course, that's always popular. You can always do it with uh, cream cheese and um, oh my goodness, that left me that quickly. But yeah, the raisins with the peanut butter, and then the cream cheese with whatever I was trying to say goes with that. And it also can go on a carrot. It can go on a piece of zucchini, a zucchini strip, on a cucumber strip. Just any way we can get different vegetables introduced to our kids.
Those are all cool. And I know there were, as you mentioned, using hummus or peanut butter. I saw the one
Hmm.
where they actually had the peanut butter that looked like a mound, and they stuck
Hmm.
the pretzels in it, so it looked like the pretzels were the turkey feathers coming out.
Yeah.
Cool. We have a question from one of our providers, so at this time we'll turn it over to Miss Monica to
Ooh,
ask
another Monica.
her question if she is still um, able to ready to ask her question.
I want to know, and hi, Chef Monica. How are you?
Junior!
Yes, Senior. How are you?
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. We haven't seen each other since pre-COVID, okay? I hope I don't cry. Happy belated birthday, beautiful. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's awesome. We can make a preschool promise connection on preschool chat.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, we haven't seen each other since pre-COVID, and I hope I don't cry. Yeah, I'm older, so she's junior and I'm senior. So
That is awesome.
oh my gosh. Oh, okay.
Stop. We both
Okay. Okay, see, look, okay, stop. Yes, we haven't seen each other since pre-COVID, and it was a very sad situation when we saw each other. So we got to get it together, okay? All right, boo.
question is, do you have a recipe book or something?
What, like my own or
Your own.
not yet?
Oh,
But
okay.
but I was telling Miss Sydney when I first started that I do have recipes that I could send. You know me personally. You know you can get it like that. But but I have recipes that I
I know
can
where you
send.
live. I can come to
I
your
know.
house
Yeah, you would come to my house, and I know where you live. But yeah, Monica, I can send. I've got the recipes that I mentioned, and things that I mentioned, and that Kanicha was talking about, and Miss Sydney. I can definitely put. I was going to put something together and type it up and get it sent out, and it can be distributed. However, you guys can distribute it out to the providers.
We want to make sure we share the recipes out with our provider network, because we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to, promote healthy snack options, healthy meal options, and healthy choices, to not just inside of the preschool classroom themselves, but gives our providers a chance to share it with their families and parents. So we are excited about that. Oh, don't cry, Miss Monica.
I know, because I haven't seen Junior in forever, and I'm just going through. we have so much to catch up on. Yeah, I'm good. Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, with it now, Miss Monica Thomas, you gotta go. You making her cry.
No, don't send the boy away. Don't send Junior away.
No, I'm just thinking. Miss Monica, do you have any more questions?
And look, I told my mom, I said, look, Monica's gonna be on this Zoom teaching us healthy snacks, and he said, well, can you send me the video? I said, no, I so, she was a little excited. She said, I haven't saw Monica in, I don't know how long. I said, yeah.
See, it's been a minute. It's been too long. It's been too long.
See, Miss Monica, now you're going to have to get together for a reunion and put all your recipes together, all your comfort foods and everything.
No, they're going to have me cook, okay? They already they're going to have me cook. I know Junior what she doesn't eat. I know what she does eat. Yeah, this going to have to be an after school, nothing healthy, nothing. We're going to have adult libations and everything. So, yes.
Yes. And I need some quick, like 10-minute recipes, like 4 toddlers and a preschooler, quick and healthy. I guess I need to buy another air fryer. I think that's what I need to do. I could just throw it all in there.
Mm-hmm.
While the toddlers in there fighting one another, because that's what they do. So, yeah.
And that's what I was saying. I prefer the air fryer over the microwave, and it's a healthier cook, and it's the micro. I've just never liked the microwave, but yeah, air fryers are the way to go. I'm loving them. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Miss, what is your recommendation on portion sizes? And do you have a problem with younger kids or preschoolers coming back for seconds or so?
Absolutely not. My portion size is the size of their hand. We portion size to a deck of cards, which is the size of our hand, but toddlers, their bellies are smaller than ours, so I like them to use the size of their hand. And if they're favoring a certain type of food and all they want to do is eat that food, I would prefer that if they come back for seconds, at least they've tried the other foods. And additionally, we find out that the kids aren't necessarily hungry, they just want more. So if they say, can I have more chicken, and they didn't eat their carrots, then say, eat your carrot, and then say, I'm still hungry, and you say, go eat your carrots, then they're not really hungry. They just want more chicken. So, as long as it's not a matter that they don't like the carrots, then I'm all for seconds, because we're not giving them a huge amount of food in the first place. Again, the portion control size for me is the size of their hand, not the size of ours. And it never made sense until I thought about it. Our hands are the size of a deck of cards, and if we're giving a toddler 3 portions of that size, that's a lot of food. We're looking at 4 to 6 ounce portions per serving, when in actuality, we should be giving them about half that amount. But I'm not against seconds at all. I'm not opposed to seconds, because I'm feeling like we're giving our kids the what we're feeding them. We're following the National Food Guidelines, so it's not like they've got candy and chips and something else, and then they want more candy, so we're giving them more candy. We're giving them the protein, the carb, the starch, the fruit, and the vegetable. So it's not going to necessarily be, okay, I gave them too much of this or too much of that. I don't have a problem with seconds.
I was going to say something about that, because when we are creating meals for preschoolers, can you talk a little bit more about why it is important to make sure that we are giving them the balanced meal in all 5 food groups?
The majority of the time is because of the nutritional aspect of it. We've got to make sure that their bodies are being fed what they need to be fed. We have a tendency to give them what we like, and we have to be familiar with those 5 food groups. There's so many variations in those food groups. We shouldn't ever run out of ideas, but we have a tendency to get in a rut. And just like you said, the peanut butter with the pretzel sticks, it looks like a turkey, and you just throw the peanut butter and the pretzel sticks on the plate. They might be like, I don't want that, but if you make it look like a haystack, then that's a little different. But the turkey stack that you were talking about. But we have to be familiarized with the food groups. I'm not a big fan. We don't serve a lot of pork at our school, mainly for religious purposes, because so many kids don't eat pork. Not because I don't eat pork or my staff doesn't eat pork. So it's not a bad nutritional value with it. It's just the way we cook it. And we also have to look at how we're cooking our foods too.
Okay, cool. Do you have recommendations around, because I've heard people talk about the size of the plate, the color of the plate, getting a plate that has the color guides on it. Do you have any recommendations like that for our parents or providers that are listening in tonight?
Absolutely. I recommend those for us as providers, because the kids don't care what color plate they're eating off of. You know what I mean? So if we see that plate, and it's got green for this, red for this, blue for this, pink for this. And I know I went all over the rainbow on that, but that's more of a teaching tool for us. It will give the kids variety, of course, but they're playing games during the day, so they're learning their colors. They're doing events. They're doing other activities with their providers. So for lunch, for our meals, we can concentrate on the food colors, but I think that's more of an issue for the service providers than for the kids to know. If we want to encourage them with them, that's perfect. Monica can say, hey, eat your greens. And what color is that? What color are your greens on? We can do it that way. But my concern is for us to know why we're serving greens on a green spot and red on a red spot, meat on a red spot, the protein or something like that. So in my opinion, it doesn't matter for the kids, but it does matter for our knowledge. Yes.
And I had looked up and saw a book that was called Eat Your Colors. So do you have any recommendations or literature or something that you can point our parents or providers to as they're looking for, because you said something really that's important, and I think that happens to us as adults. We can get in a food rut. So we go grocery shopping and we buy the same things over and over. Absolutely. So do you have any recommendations on something, that literature that you can point us to, or websites that you can point us to that will help us expand our horizons when it comes to making those food choices in those food groups?
I didn't research anything like that. I've heard of what you said, eat our colors. That's perfect. Additionally, I think that, and this is more of on the higher end, and with food being so ridiculous right now, I suggest places, and you guys are going to hit me, Whole Foods, Fresh Market, places like that, because they're, we're so, I hope nobody gets upset. I was talking about Patti LaBelle's pies today, and if Patti LaBelle makes a pie at home, it's going to be delicious. But when you got 50,000 Patti LaBelle pies, they're commercialized now. They're mass produced. They're all going to taste the same. Your mom's sweet potato pie doesn't taste the same way every year when she makes it. So if we take our kids, or if we learn to shop in a place where meat is sliced fresh every day, produce is put out fresh every day, fish is put out fresh every day, things like that are put out fresh every day, then we're not into that mass production. Again, everybody can't afford it, but it could be a treat. It could be a luxury at some point where we are able to feed that color, that matches the kale, that matches the green, or something like that. I don't have any books. Most of my literature are cookbooks. I do have books for cooking cheap and things like that. Plate presentation, but it's like making a rose out of a strawberry or something. It's not, anything like that. But yeah, I do have a Healthy Start website, because I was looking for some snacks for one of my administrators a few weeks ago. There was a healthy snack website that I went to. Check the Ohio. I just had it up. It's CRRS. Hold on. You're making me work here. It's the Ohio. It's the Education Ohio government, but it's a food service program. I've got to look it up, and I will put that in the email with the recipes that I send. It's got almost any and everything you can think of as far as food service. At work, I almost stayed at work and did this, but I've got books galore in my office that mainly are geared towards that. Again, I like that you asked me. I know we're dealing with preschoolers here, but these preschool palettes are going to turn into adult into high school palettes and adult palettes and things like that. And we want them to know what kale is, as opposed to, getting 50 years old and saying, I've never had kale, I'm not going to eat that. So I will definitely leave you to get the website for food and nutrition.
And I have a question, because I know, wow, I do have a bunch of cousins and nieces and nephews that are spanning every grade you can think of, preschool and kindergarten. And the tricky one right now is my nephew who's in kindergarten. So just left preschool, is now in kindergarten, and his favorite drink of choice is milk. So as we're moving and preparing again for healthy snacks, my question is, how do you choose drinks for little ones? Is it better to focus on water, milk, juice, caffeinated drinks? Like, what is the right mix?
I like to
you're planning snack time.
I like to start with water. My next go-to is 100% juice. Apple, orange juice is very acidic, but so we have a tendency to go to like the Sunny Delights and stuff like that. But apple juice, white grape juice, which is quite pricey. Water is always my go-to. And I'm not a big fan of the Capri Suns and, things like that. I give my guests, my residential guests, I buy them 100% fruit juices. There's a brand called Apple and Eve, and they're just little juice boxes. They come in 4.23 ounces and 6.75. Oh my gosh, can you tell I do this for a living? I can't believe I read all those numbers out like that. But yeah, they come in little, sippy juice boxes where you put the straw in and stuff like that. Yeah, and those are amazing. They also come in a veggie fruit blend. So you'll get your carrots and your spinach and things like that within that. But it's also got fruit juices in there, so it doesn't taste like carrots and spinach. And they're amazing because, I've got to taste everything I give the kids. So yeah. I try and stay away from, like I said, now the cranberry juices are good, but they're not going to like the 100% cranberry juice. So that's the only one that I would prefer as a juice blend. There's a white cranberry juice there that's amazing, but it's expensive, like the white grape juice. Like I said, my go-to is water. I I'm gonna get it, but I don't like that we're only allowed to serve 1% milks. I would rather them have the whole milk or the soy milk or the almond milk. But we're only able to serve the 1% milks, and I feel like they need more of the vitamin D. I feel like they need more of the vitamin D than they do the sugar because they're replacing what the milk that they're taking out, they're replacing it with sugar. So I'd rather have the vitamin D milk, but that's not my fight. Um, yeah.
If you were talking to a parent today as they're
Mhm.
preparing to go grocery shopping for the holidays, what are some of the key things you would tell them to make sure they had on hand so their child could snack on healthy things?
Oh, shoot. Any kind of fresh fruit and vegetable. And a variety. Don't get them all oranges. Don't get a 10-pound bag of oranges and apples, and because they're going to get burnt out. Get 2 bananas. Get 2 oranges. Get a couple of apples, a green and a red. Get kiwi, bananas, cantaloupe, grapes, every kind of fruit, but just a little bit of each. Same thing with fresh vegetables. They can eat kale out the bag, salt and pepper on it and throw it through the air fryer or just eat it plain out the bag. Broccoli salad with broccoli and Brussels sprouts and kale, just a quick mix with our ranch dressing, Miss Sydney, or some sort of balsamic or a light vinaigrette or something. Any kind of protein. I'm not a big fan of the processed meats, but unfortunately that's what our kids are liking. So get a light turkey, and when I say turkey, I mean like get an oven roasted, get an oven baked. Try to stay away from the honey flavors and things like that. The same with the chicken. Get a rotisserie chicken. That thing will take you all over the world. If we're meat fans, as far as red meat is concerned, get a very, very lean roast beef. Pork fans, get the regular ham. Get the Black Forest ham. Stay away from the honey glazed, and things like that. Just and variety is the key. If you've never tried it, it's like, I wonder how that would taste. Give it a shot. Again, don't buy 5 pounds of it, but just get enough to taste it and go from there. Take the kids to the grocery store with you. I know I just said 5 bad words in a row, but yeah, have them go with you or let them help you make the list and say, hey, what do you want this week? The honey dip we talked about, strawberries go really good with that. Fresh strawberries are amazing, but we put sugar and, all that stuff on them when they're fine the way they are. Like I said, if you can't take the kids to the store with you or if you just absolutely refuse to, have them help you make the list, coming from work and saying, hey, I'm going to stop at the store. What would you like besides Takis and hot chips? Stuff like that. So, yeah.
Miss Monica,
hmm
I want to, excuse me. My daughter is a vegan. One of my daughters is a vegan,
hmm
and she walks around the house with a no soy hammer. No soy, no soy. So, how do you feel about soybean in products? And also, you have been just a great wealth of knowledge. This is my part B to the question. So, how did your zeal come about? I know you said that after you went to unemployment, you saw Cincinnati State, but tell us about your zeal and how all of that came about with you enjoying what you do so much.
When I initially lost my job, of course I did. I went into a brief depression. I wasn't allowed to stay in it long, but I wasn't a good cook. I wasn't a cook at all. I got my daughter to the age of 20, and with the help of her grandparents on both sides and aunts and uncles, I didn't kill her cooking. They were able to kind of fill in. I wasn't horrible. I did a good friend of mine is a DJ, and Julia and I, she's been around some parties and stuff with us before. People would ask me to make salad, tuna salad, chicken salad, things like that. And then I'm like, if I'm making these, maybe I can get paid for it. So I started kind of doing that. My mother fell ill in 2016 and she wouldn't eat. My brother said, hey, you're a cook. Why can't you make Ma eat? And it wasn't a matter of cooking for her. It was just a matter of her eating. Um, when I graduated from culinary school and came back from Disney, I started working, and I hated where I worked, but I was with kids, but it wasn't really, really what I wanted to do. It was the first job I took right out of college. So when my mother fell ill, I made I made a turkey neck soup. The neck from the 22-pound turkey, I threw some ingredients together and threw it all in a bowl. And when I was over there caring for her one day, I was eating the soup, and she said, "What is that smell?" And I'm like, "Oh, I made it. Oh gosh, she's gonna throw me out." And she said, "Give me some of that." And I spoon fed her that soup. And she asked what was in it, and I told her. And I was double majoring at the time, but when I started to go to work, when I started working, and my mother fell ill again, I stopped. I'm sorry, I was double majoring in it. It became too much. I wanted to go back to work. And when my mother fell ill, I had to quit school to care for her. And I started back for my nutritional and dietary degree so I could learn what foods to put together for my mother to keep her on a journey of health because she wasn't eating. Again, when I worked in a nursing home, I saw the residents there in the same condition that my mother was in, as far as not wanting to eat because of illness and stuff like that, and it really punched me in the gut. And that wasn't a good fit for me either. And when I applied for this job, I stepped out on faith. I walked away from that job completely and applied for this job. Didn't even think about applying for any other job because I was encouraged. I wanted to work with kids, and I wanted them to say, "Okay, I don't like this." Even today, we had Thanksgiving dinner, and one of my kids that doesn't eat, he ate his food so he could get dessert. He always tells him he doesn't like it, but he ate his food so he could get dessert, and he was too full from his meal to eat his dessert. So that's what my passion is too. I mean, Julian, for example, she doesn't eat meat, so it's always a challenge. What kind of fish you want this time? That's our thing. I have good friends of mine that I want to cook for in my home when we entertain, and I don't want her to be ostracized because she doesn't eat a certain thing. So I want everybody to be able to eat, and that's my zest and my zeal to be able to feed everybody, because I believe food is medicine. I'll be 61 years old, and I was just diagnosed with high blood pressure, but that's a whole nother story. But that's the only time I've ever been sick like that in my life. And I mean, if I stand up, I'm a healthy girl, but I'm a heavy girl, but I'm also healthy. And it's because I'm conscious of what I put in my body, and how, not necessarily over the years, but just now. And I want the kids to grow up to see that, you don't have to grow up on chips and pop and stuff like that, which I didn't. But I want everybody to be able to enjoy food, because we have to have food as survival. We have to eat it. Food is medicine. We have to have food to survive. And if we can't eat what we want and what we like, then it's not going to be enjoyable to us.
Well, that is exciting. What you just said, food is medicine. And when you look at it that way, it helps give life and helps nurture you back and nurse you back to a place of being able to live
Mm-hmm.
in a place of like where you can thrive and not just
Absolutely.
surviving and feeling sluggish.
Absolutely.
I know we have some more providers on the call. If you guys have questions that that you would like to ask that we did not cover today, please feel free to send those questions into us, and we will try to get them answered for you. I know we all are preparing for the holidays, and so we want to make sure that you can get information back out to your parents, and or just have the information for you for when your children and preschoolers are at your site. But if there are any other questions from the team here, please let us know, or feel free to jump in. Jacob or Tanya or Brittany, I didn't know if anyone else had questions that they would like to ask.
I want the soy question answered.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think you're on mute, Miss Monica.
Miss Monica, you're on mute.
As far as the filler is concerned, as far as soy as a filler, or
She says that it's just bad as a whole, and I haven't done enough research to say either or. I know that it's put in a lot of foods now, but he just is against soy, and I don't know if it's a personal reason or it's something to be concerning.
I know that soy is used as a filler a lot because of a lot of the, it's used as a filler as an additive. Some of our meat products, that's why I try to go with 100% Angus and things like that. A lot of our meat products are, soy is added to it as a filler. I am not aware of not medical nutritional aspects of it. I know a lot of my guests that come in that have lactose allergies also have soy allergies, so it may be something in the lactate that's used as a preservative. But again, soy to me, I mean, I eat soybeans and I drink soy milk, but I don't know of any nutritional values or anything like that, good, bad, or otherwise.
I am going to take your word with me the next time she and I have a debate. Thank
Do
you.
not have her come for me. I'll check it out though. I like a challenge. I'll definitely check it out.
Jacob or Brittany or Tanya, did you guys have any questions related to healthy snacks? Or Miss Monica, did you have any more questions
I do.
related to
I
healthy
have one
snacks?
more question. How much bread should I actually feed the kids? Because I think I feed them too much. But when I feed them bread, they're
What
full.
kind of bread is it, Junior? I mean, Monica.
Whole wheat.
Is it, but is it 100% whole wheat? Is it, okay. Is it, are you leaving the crust on?
Yes.
Okay, because that's important. Is it every meal?
Yes.
One slice per meal is good. If you're making a sandwich every time, but let's just do one slice per meal. How old are your kids?
I have 4 2-year-olds and
Mhm.
4-year-olds.
Okay, let's keep it to one slice per meal because bread does have a lot of sugar in it. And if they want a sandwich, tell them to fold it in half.
Okay, but so if they ask for more bread, give them what? Crackers?
If you have whole wheat, I'm all about whole wheat. Give them crackers, give them Melba cake.
Um, the club crackers. I buy them in whole wheat, and
Okay,
the saltines without the salt.
try Melba toast also. I know that's old school. Just try it. Just try it. Ask your mommy about that. Melba toast.
I see it.
Mhm.
I see it in the store, but I didn't think nobody actually bought that.
Stop it. You know why? Because the more they chew with kids that age, they're chewing. That chewing is an eating sensation for them. So if they're just like, the thing with our kids now, they're eating so fast. If they have that Melba toast or crackers or something like that, they're able to chew it and it's more filling. The longer it takes you to eat, the quicker you eat, the longer it takes you to fill up. So if they're eating that Melba toast or something that's chewy, then they'll fill up faster because they're using more energy, if that makes sense.
It does.
Okay, thank you. Wait till my mom finds out my education. Oh, she didn't pay for this one. Never mind.
Do we have any questions from any of the other CPT team, Miss Brittany or Tanya or Mr. Jacob? I don't know if you guys have any questions before we wrap up.
I don't. I'm looking forward to the recipes.
Thank you, Brittany. Do I have a deadline on those?
I would say not necessarily. I don't have any specific questions, but I would say it's been a joy having you on. Like I learned a lot as far as like kids nutrition go, and somebody who's obsessed with like sports and nutrition myself, yeah, it was really nice just being able to sit and listen to you.
Jacob, my number will be on there. You give me a call if you have any questions, okay?
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yes, I like the athletes.
So as we prepare to wrap up, I just want to bring us back to a couple of things. One, you gave a lot of great tidbits. So one was making sure that we're not afraid to expose our children to new items. Start small, but make sure that we are giving them variety. Don't be afraid of their choice of dressing. Just make sure that we try to expose them to new flavors or new sauce options. When in doubt, you can try fun things like hummus and or peanut butter to cover and allow them to dip their fruits and vegetables in. So your carrots, your celery, or your apple slices, these are some ways that we can spice up some of our healthy snacks as we transition into the holidays. Also make sure that when we are looking for drink choices, as you said, order operations, starting with water, transitioning into 100% milk, and make sure that we are not loading up on drinks with a lot of sugar or lots of caffeine. Also, when we can try to make sure that we bring kids into the creation of the meals to remember that that is a form of art for the kids, but also encourages them to try different foods, but brings them in and helps us do a couple of things that we're trying to accomplish, which is the family engagement, brings everybody in, or as you can say, all hands on deck. And it also just allows those parents and children to have new experiences together. And it might inspire some new chefs, right? So inspire a new chef. So we never know what we are doing when we are exposing our kids to new experiences. Those are just some of the cool things we talked about. Fun ways to make sandwiches using our hands to make them look like turkeys for the holidays.
Tell Monica she can do that with the bread.
We can also use it for the bread. Yeah, we can also get some cool cookie cutters to cut our foods into interesting shapes to make food, lunch, breakfast, and or snack time interesting ways. So you gave us some cool tips about how to use cupcake pans, air fryers. It just went on and on. So today we just heard a lot of great information and gave us some great resources. So I'm sure we all will be looking forward to getting the recipes and getting just additional information from you on what we can do as we prepare for the holidays and as we try to prepare for some of the picky eaters in our households and into to the winter season in the winter months. So thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today. Thank you so much for your service to the community.
Thank you.
It has really been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate everyone. I hope I didn't get too long-winded. I could talk about this forever, and people I didn't realize it, but people always ask me what makes me so passionate about this. I don't feel like it is a passion. There's an expression, if you love what you're doing, you never work another day in your life. And I love this. And again, it's just in my blood. And I appreciate the time that you guys have given me because this is so important for our youth. And it's also a learning experience. I learned something here. We never stop learning. Miss Country, you taught me a few things that I got to go look up. But, Miss Sydney was talking about the soy. I got to find out about that soy. But, just the excitement and I thank each and every one of you for what you do. I have a grandchild and two grandchildren at some point. They're going to have children. I dare to think that. But they may be exposed to any of you, and I want them to be aware of the things that are available for them and in the community and outside of the community. And I thank you all for what you do.
But it's kind of funny. One of the last things I looked up as we were preparing for today, it was about, and Miss Sydney hit it, was about overfeeding kids. But one of the tips it said as we were preparing for the holiday season was limiting computer time and or TV time, which we all now call screen time. It said because sometimes when you do have a lot of exposure to that screen time, it leads to mindless snacking. and eating when you're just sitting there doing it for no reason. So if you
Absolutely.
can actually encourage healthy activities, you will probably decrease some of the unhealthy snacking that comes
Hmm.
along. But I said, oh wow, that's not just a tip for kids, that's a tip for
Yes.
preschoolers. That's a tip
Right.
for the kids of all ages, because
Right.
we were all preschoolers once, right? So
Yes. And we all still are at heart, but I've got some stuff for that too. I've got some popcorn with some brown sugar and orange zest and some tagine you can put on it. Like I said, the fruit kebabs. So if we have mindless snacking, we can go to those things that aren't, the here we go again with the chips and, and the Takis and stuff like that for us and the kids. So great. Thank
I want
you.
to say thank you to
Yes.
our team
Thank
member
you.
Florence for choosing this topic, because she is the one on our team who's passionate about food,
Yes,
who
she
loves
is.
gardening, who loves cooking, who has that nutritional background, who specifically chose this topic to make sure that our children are not just with the help of Brittany, because her and Brittany do great work with quality improvement and tuition assistance, but they are both committed to making sure our kids are not just healthy inside of the preschool classrooms, but healthy outside too. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And Miss Monica, I saw you did have one more question, so go ahead.
Where'd she
I
go?
did not. No, I was waving my hands. I did.
Oh.
Okay. So with that, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you to all of our providers and parents that tuned in today to learn more about healthy snacks, ideas for the holiday season, and just more about what we can do to make sure our preschoolers have a healthy experience at the table.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you
everyone.
guys.
Enjoy your holidays.
Same to you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
See you, everyone.